Welcome to the Health Angle Podcast with Dr. Mike Headlee and Dr. Gordon Fimreite, where we'll be exploring different angles of health to achieve the best version of yourself. Now here's your hosts, Dr. Mike and Dr. Gordon.
Welcome everybody, I'm Dr. Mike Headlee and with me is Dr. Gordon Fimreite. Welcome Dr. Gordy.
Hey Dr. Mike, and welcome to the Health Angle. This is a podcast that we do every week. And the goal is to share information weekly on a different health subject to help you optimize your health and your health potential. Today's program, we're going to do the truth about toothpaste and what you're not being told. We're also going to dive just a bit about really oral health. I think they kind of go side by side. I think they're both important. And we know that oral health has been linked to serious health problems, including heart disease, stroke, diabetes, respiratory problems, infections, pregnancy complications, etc. And Mike, I thought about this too. When I was in school, we used to bring our rabbits in to the fair and they would judge it. And guess what they did? Besides looking at the fur and the feet, and they'd look inside the mouth, they'd look at the teeth. And I think everybody knows, this is kind of common knowledge, that when you want a thoroughbred horse racing, highest quality, they always look in the mouth. They look at the teeth. Human beings, we shouldn't be any different. Welcome to the Health Angle Podcast.
That's great points, Dr. Gordy. We have a dog right now, and they always look at the teeth too. And then the question for our listeners to ponder is, why do dogs have better teeth than humans, right? There's no orthodontic veterinarians. There's no orthodontics, braces for dogs. You never see that. The dogs have really good teeth. So that's a point to ponder, and search that in your AI search engine to see why dogs have better teeth than humans. And why don't healthcare practitioners look in the mouth, and why do they ignore that? Because dental hygienists and dentists have told me for years, when we have gingivitis and gum issues, it really takes up a lot of our antioxidants to fight those bacteria and viruses. Well, then that weakens our immune system and other things. And so it is critical. I've mentioned for years and years and years that you need to take care of three things: your feet, your teeth, and your spine. I'm biased with the spine, Dr. Gordy, because it protects your nervous system. And when your brain and your body's balanced, your nervous system, when that's functioning optimally, I'm biased there. But also our feet get us around every step of our life, and our teeth are important, and they're correlated with every organ and tissue in our body, and you just want to have a good microbiome of your mouth. So let's dive in. I'm kind of excited to talk about this, and maybe a little about yours and mine, oral routine, and some of the products you use, and how to find a biological dentist, etc. So this will be a good episode.
That's great. My first one, Mike, I'm going to go through a few points here, and my first one is going to be fluoride. First of all, there's a little controversy about fluoride, and you can type that into your search engines and find out that there was just a lawsuit on fluoride. They're trying to get it out of the water, the drinking water. So it's going to go a little deeper than I'm going to talk about, but basically in a nutshell, I know they try to put it in toothpaste and all kinds of other oral products, and it's not needed. In fact, it's not an essential nutrient. It's probably the opposite of that. And unlike calcium or vitamin D, your body doesn't need fluoride to function. So you don't have to have it, and it can be a detriment. You look at some European countries that have great dental health, but they don't have any fluoride in their water or toothpaste, unlike what we do here in the United States. But Europeans have less sugar in their daily diets versus the amount of sugar that we consume here in the United States. So I'm going to zoom right into my next point, Mike, and that's cutting sugar is more important than any kind of toothpaste. And I'm going to go over a couple of toothpaste that I do use, but I think what we're trying to do here is make a point that sugar feeds the bacteria in your mouth that produces the acid, and it can eat away on your enamel. And even natural sugars like dried fruits and honeys and juices, that really can also add to that. The acidic from the sugary drinks erode the enamel even without the bacteria. So the bottom line is tooth decay isn't caused by bacteria alone. It's caused by what you feed them. So back to you, Mike.
Yeah, your first point about fluoride, I mean, I have about 8 studies, but I'm going to zoom through them as well. Here's some key points. More than 400 animal and human studies show fluoride is a neurotoxic substance, and many
Wow.
have found harm at or precariously close to the levels millions of American pregnant women and children receive. So, I mean, it's crazy, Dr. Gordy. Recent studies indicate that fluoride exposure is linked to lower IQ scores in children, with prenatal exposure being particularly harmful. This has led to recommendations against water fluoridation due to neurotoxic risks.
Hmm.
It's wild. Fluoridated water provides little dental benefits, but carries serious neurological risks, including lower IQ and disrupted brain development in children. Most developed countries have rejected fluoridation and still have similar rates of dental health, while 62.8% of Americans receive it without informed consent.
Wow.
So there's lawsuits going on in North Dakota. Fluoride is an endocrine disrupting chemical linked to thyroid disease, impaired memory, attention deficit, hyperactivity disorder, and lower IQ. There's just a lot of stuff. Fluoride may have adverse impacts on sleep by preferentially accumulating in the pineal gland, thereby inhibiting the production of melatonin. It's long and deep, and
Wow.
Florida just banned water fluoridation across the state recently. There's a few other states considering it, Texas and Ohio. So it's just starting, but pretty soon a lot more states are going to jump on board and ban it because it's just a neurotoxin.
Wow, that's a great one to start out, Mike, with. And my next one is going to be your mouth has its own microbiome. We talked about that with the gut. You have good bacteria, bad bacteria, and it's a balance. And we talked about things that you can do to optimize that balance. It's the same thing with your oral health. You need a good balance because sometimes these toothpaste, if you have the wrong one, it can actually kill the good bacteria too, and it sets up a bad environment for your teeth and your oral health. So even like many mainstream toothpaste have a harsh antibacterial agents, and it basically kills both good and bad bacteria. So just like your gut, you need to balance that off. We'll share with our toothpaste towards the end of the podcast. And then also most whitening toothpaste have an abrasive particle that removes the surface stains, but it's not really true whitening. And over time, that abrasiveness can really thin the enamel, leading to more sensitivity and discoloration, the opposite of what you want. And then you look at like salt or clay-based toothpaste, Dr. Mike. These have been used for centuries and they still work. And before the modern toothpaste, they even used baking soda. And I'm going to talk about that with my protocol. The baking soda, it's cheap, it's inexpensive, and you can actually use that. So baking soda, salt, charcoal, and clay to clean their teeth. So clay toothpaste, they can bind to toxins and heavy metals, and they act like a gentle detoxifier. Baking soda is alkaline, which neutralizes the acids and kills odor-causing bacteria. Then you have baking soda that removes the stains, like that from coffee, tea, or wine, or even smoking. It doesn't bleach the teeth or change the natural color, unlike the hydrogen peroxide-based whiteners. And that's really a key term I think people need to look at if they're looking at products that whiten their teeth. Is it a hydrogen peroxide-based whitener? Because that can really play havoc on the enamel. So is baking soda abrasive? Yes, but it's least abrasive than other commercial whitening products. So there's a RDA that stands for relative dentin abrasivity, and that's a scale that really measures how abrasive these products can be. Baking soda only hits about a 7. And if you look at a product like Colgate, that's like 70.
Wow.
Or Crest Whitening, that's like 200.
Wow.
And then if you use charcoal, that's like at 300 plus. It's very abrasive. Going right back, baking soda, old-fashioned, cheap, inexpensive, easy-to-use baking soda, only 7. So when you feel that stuff in your mouth, you think, oh gosh, this is really abrasive. It's really not bad considering how popular Colgate is. It's not bad. And then how do you use it? Don't scrub hard when you're using it. It's just gentle, circular types of motions. And some sources say just use it 2 to 3 times per week. I'll share how often I use it towards the end when we get into sharing our products. And then you can mix it with a few drops of water, or you can add coconut oil. And we talked on other podcasts about that idea of doing oil pulling. We basically swishing coconut oil in your mouth. That has a incredible effect on your oral health and your teeth habits as well. So, Mike, I'm going to throw it right back to you.
Yeah, that's really, really, really interesting. I did not know how abrasive Crest and Colgate and charcoal were, because gosh, that's just, you get your Colgate if you go to the dentist, or your Crest and things like that, geez, that's crazy how abrasive that is. So I just have 2 more points, Dr. Gordy. I'm going to finish with how to find a biological dentist and the importance of mercury-free dentistry, etc. But a lot of people say they have tooth sensitivity. So here's a couple of helpful tips. Tooth sensitivity often signals deeper dental problems like enamel erosion, gum recession, or hidden decay. So everyday habits such as drinking acidic beverages, brushing too hard, or using harsh whitening products strip away your teeth's natural protection and exposes nerves, just like you said, too much abrasiveness. So there's natural alternatives like zinc, black seed oil, coconut oil, help soothe pain, reduce gum inflammation, strengthen oral tissues without relying on fluoride. Some remedies like clove oil, saltwater rinses, often short-term relief, but they don't recommend apple cider vinegar because that could make sensitivities worse. So protect your enamel with gentle brushing, staying hydrated, breaking harmful habits of the soda and the pop. We did a great podcast on I've still held up my bargain. I haven't had a soda or a pop, and I don't plan.
Yeah, excellent work.
Seek dentistry from a holistic or a biological dentist, and I'll talk about that next. One thing that I came across today, Dr. Gordy, was natural maple compounds block cavity-causing bacteria. So maple-derived compounds, especially ECG, stop cavity-causing bacteria from attaching to your teeth and forming plaque. So unlike chemical mouthwashes, maple polyphenols are safe to swallow, making them a better option for children and adults. So green and black tea also contain this ECG, giving you an easy daily source of natural cavity protection. Reducing sugar in acidic drinks cuts off main fuel that bacteria use to erode enamel and cause decay. So homemade eggshell toothpaste, oil pulling, I use coconut oil for oil pulling, provides simple natural ways to strengthen teeth and reduce harmful bacteria. So I thought that was really interesting. Another really good benefit of green and black tea.
That's great, Mike. Good information. I have 2 points here, and then I'm going to show you what I use. Flossing, that's a big deal. I think a lot of people skip flossing, but most cavities are between the teeth and areas that the toothbrush just can't reach. So flossing is a big one. Stay hydrated because the saliva is the nature's mouthwash. So make sure you get plenty of fluids and stay hydrated. In fact, dry mouth from dehydration or medication or just a mouth breather, that increases cavity risk. So Mike, we talked a lot about using Yuka, the app, to look at products. Well, you can look at toothpaste and tooth products and mouthwashes and everything else. Here's a couple of products that I've used, and Tom's of Maine is one that I've used even before, and I do this without fluoride, but I've had this one for a long time that I've used. More recently, I did use the app to find this one, and I think this is an incredible product as well. It's called Hello. So those are my 2 go-to as far as brushing my teeth, toothpaste. And then here's a mouth rinse. And by the way, those are basically all natural products. They don't really use artificial sweeteners or flavors, dyes, or any of that, sulfates, SLS. So really, really natural. So the next one is a mouthwash. It's called TheraBreath, and that's what that looks like. And here's a product, and it's scored pretty high. It's not perfect, but it scores pretty high. And again, they don't use unnatural chemicals and products that are unnatural in this product as well. So those are 2 good things that I recommend. When I brush my teeth, Mike, don't do it harsh. And they say to do it for about softer for about 2 minutes versus most people do it for 45 seconds. For 2 minutes to do a very thorough job. But what I do with that toothpaste is I dip it in the baking soda, gently brush my teeth. Phenomenal. I feel like my mouth is so fresh. And then when I add oil pulling at night or later on, I go on and off with that habit, but that also just is so fresh. You can just feel the effects. So,
Yeah, do you use coconut oil, or what oil do you use for oil pulling?
yeah, usually coconut oil.
Yeah, I do too. That's my go-to. So on the Yuka app, I use right now I'm using Dr. Bronner's Peppermint All One toothpaste that it rates like a 95, all green,
Wow.
zero risk. So I really, really like that. One thing I've read a lot about dental floss, I go between these reusable one thing, thinner ones, and then I still like the floss in my hands, but this is called Smart Floss because it doesn't have any plastics. A lot of dental floss that has fluoride on it, and then it has plastics in it because it's just plasticky and it's smooth and it's shiny and glossy. This is more like string. So I really, really like clean, good dental floss. After oil pulling or with oil pulling, I use some tea tree is really good for oral health too, for viruses and to clean the microbiome. This oil scans 100 on the Yuka app. There's a gum serum I use once in a while. Primal Life is the brand. This rates a 95, all green, some gum serum you can put on with your fingers or a soft brush as well. So those are some of the products that I use as well. So yeah, it is critical to use clean stuff on or in our body, but it just makes a difference to not have a hotbed of viruses and bacteria and gingivitis and really wreaking havoc on our immune systems and heart health. So really critical. So yeah, thanks for sharing those products that you use, Dr. Gordy. So I'm going to finish up my spiel here. Mercury-free dentistry. I had 4 fillings that were mercury taken out 25-ish years ago or whatever. Amalgams, they're also called silver fillings. It's a consumer fraud, Dr. Gordy, because by referring to the color of the compound rather than its contents, consumers everywhere have been tricked into placing a known neurotoxins in their mouth. Oh, it's just a silver filling. No, it's mercury is in there. Because of this cover up by organized dentistry, aided by and embedded by the U.S. Food and Drug Administration, 57% of Americans are unaware that amalgam is a mercury filling. 23% believe amalgam is made of silver, and only 11% of people say their dentist ever told them that amalgam contains mercury. That's not good, is it?
No,
There's
absolutely not.
there's no safe levels of exposure for mercury. Ideally, exposure should be zero. If you broke
Yeah.
mercury thermometers in a public building, they'd get the hazmat suits on and evacuate and clear it out properly.
Mhm.
You can't do
And
that.
yeah, and Mike, we've seen that video where under cold, hot circumstances, you can see the vapors coming off a tooth that was basically had these amalgam fillings. So yeah, really bad. It gets in your system and it can play havoc. Dangerous. Yeah.
Amalgam is a major source of environmental mercury pollution. Dental offices must be equipped with mercury separators to eliminate further mercury contamination of our environment. So about 50% of dentists in the US are mercury free. However, only an estimated 10% of those fully understand the health risk associated with dental amalgams. And so what do you do about this? The benefits of minimal invasive dentistry, well, tooth decay is primarily driven by the symbiotic relationships between bacteria and acidity, which creates a pathogenic bioflora in your mouth. So if you're continuing lowering your pH, like you said earlier with sugar, or you're drinking soda every day, you start losing calcium, which is necessary for strong, healthy teeth. So calcium deficiency leads to porosity in the teeth, which allows plaques that has turned pathogenic to attack the tooth more thoroughly. And so if you're interested in a biological dentist that usually tells you to detox before they remove the amalgams, and they put a dam in your mouth so you get zero risk of any swallowing any mercury. They give you a gas mask. They're wearing a gas mask because they don't want to be drilling on amalgams and breathing in the mercury. So there's something called the International Academy of Biological Dentistry and Medicine. There's a Holistic Dental Association, and then Conscious Dentistry. So those three organizations, you can go on their website and search in your area for the right holistic, natural, conscious dentist, because I want to make sure I go to a dentist that doesn't use amalgams, because I don't want to go in there when they're drilling and filling and breathing in all the mercury. And I don't want my dentist to be harmed and the dental hygienist and the staff working. So I want to go into a clean environment, not just for myself, but for everyone else who's exposed to the air in those buildings. So yeah, it was well worth my time and effort years ago to get my amalgams out. I've had to have one of those ceramic fillings replaced because they probably aren't as strong as the metal fillings, but I'm okay with cracking a ceramic filling every 20 years or something like that and getting it filled with another ceramic one, and instead of having metal mercury in my mouth.
Yeah, Mike, I remember when we had yours removed because I was so inspired. I went to your same dentist and had all mine removed as well. So it's quite a process. In conclusion, Dr. Mike, besides the toothpaste, we talked about that you shared, I shared, cutting back on sugars, brushing gently, flossing daily, and staying hydrated. Besides a really just good, healthy lifestyle, eating the good foods, go back to our podcast. We have so many different health subjects that people can just optimize, pick areas. But in general, the people that are the healthiest have the healthiest teeth and the healthiest oral health. So that's it from my end, Mike.
Yes, I love the statement that you started off on one of our first podcasts. Consistency is more important than intensity. So consistency with the baking powder, not really intense, hard grinding, whatever, with the baking soda and the oil pulling. So consistency, consistency, consistency. 2 minutes, 2 minutes, 2 minutes. Regularity is really critical. So I like to finish off by asking, when you're at work tomorrow, what's your number one takeaway that you can share with a coworker? Maybe you could share your oral hygiene routines, what kind of toothpaste you use. You could share if you scan your toothpaste on the Yuka app, for instance. What's your number one takeaway that you can share with a colleague about oral health and toothpaste? Number two is, what's your action step? After listening to what Dr. and Gordy and I, what did you hear? What did you learn? What did you relearn that you can take an action step today? So with that, it's simple and easy topic that it's within everyone's reach to improve your oral hygiene starting today. So take some action.
Thanks, Mike, and thanks everybody for joining us here on the Health Angle podcast. Please subscribe. Please like our content. Comments, we're always welcome. And each week we'll put on a new topic. And until next week, we'll see you right here at the Health Angle podcast.
Thank you for joining us on the Health Angle podcast. Please subscribe to our channel and catch us for our next episode.